Hey everybody, welcome back to a max velocity weather forecast, and today what we're going over is that severe weather potential for both today, tomorrow, and Sunday across portions of the United States. There is a lot to get to in this forecast. We'll give you the latest timing, the intensity of the storms, and as well as everything that you need to know ahead of the storms. Let's get right into it. So as of right now, there is a slight risk of severe weather that does include portions of Kentucky into extreme southern areas of Indiana, as well as Illinois, and as well as extreme northern portions of Tennessee. The main threats this afternoon into the evening hours will be damaging winds with the isolated chance for a little bit of large hail, and also maybe a couple of brief and weak tornadoes cannot be ruled out later today. There's also a marginal risk for severe weather that does exist outside of that region. It includes the Carolinas, Virginia, West Virginia, into Alabama and Georgia. It also goes into areas like the central and southern plains. We actually have a marginal risk of severe weather that does exist for central and southern Oklahoma, and as well as portions of the northern and central Texas panhandle. So there's actually going to be a chance for maybe a couple of strong, maybe isolated severe storms out that way later today. There's also a slight risk of severe weather back up in Montana and western North Dakota. Same threat that we've been looking at the last several days, mainly damaging winds, some large hail, and an isolated tornado. Here's a look at the timing this afternoon for those over in Illinois as well as Indiana. Some showers and storms may develop near Springfield this afternoon. Again, main threat's going to be damaging winds if any storms able to develop. Overall, most of the severity out of these storms will be very limited. We're not going to see a whole lot of severe weather out of this. We'll eventually see more storms develop even maybe later tonight in western Kentucky. That might provide that potential for maybe some damaging winds as well. Here's a look at the timing over in Kentucky as well as Tennessee later this afternoon. You can see 2 to 3 o'clock. Area of storms going through areas like Somerset, eventually going towards Knoxville later this afternoon. By 5 to 6 o'clock, more scattered shower and storm activity starting to develop from Bowling Green upwards of Somerset again. So again, damaging winds and isolated large hail may be possible. Cannot rule out again a brief tornado. Eventually by 9 to 10 o'clock, most of those storm activity will start to shift off to the east. It does show on this computer model there might be another line of storms that develops after the fact, so going to the overnight hours, this would primarily just be gusty winds and maybe isolated pea-sized hail. Not expecting much in terms of severe weather out of that tonight. Here's a look at the timing over in the southern plains. Yes, we have a chance for some showers and storms today. I know a lot of you guys have been begging for it recently. A weak cold front will be coming through these regions over the next 24 to 48 hours. That won't bring much of a cool down, but it will bring that shower and storm chance to these areas. You can see by 5 o'clock, we'll have scattered showers and possibly some storms across anywhere along the interstate near Oklahoma City, Elk City, all the way back out toward Amarillo, and just north of Wichita Falls. Now, going to the evening hours by 7, 8 o'clock, those storms will try to move down to the south. They're going to be fairly slow moving, so overall, it's going to struggle to move far south. But if any storm is able to become severe, we could see some damaging wind gusts up to about 60 to 65 miles per hour. By 10 to 11 o'clock, those showers and storms will start to shift their focus into potentially North Texas. You can start to see maybe some isolated showers, but overall, the threat seems to be fairly low at this point for those over in North Texas, unfortunately. But there might be a chance tomorrow. Again, more on that in our next forecast. Here's a look at the severe weather potential for tomorrow. There is a slight risk of severe weather, again, for those up in northeastern Montana. Almost all of North Dakota is included as well, and extreme northwestern Minnesota. There's also a marginal threat that extends into portions of South Dakota. The main threats tomorrow will be most likely just large hail and damaging winds. We may see another possibility for maybe a tornado or two as well. Tornado threat will really increase going into Sunday, and I'll show you again more on that in just a moment. Here's a look at the threat as well going into the southeast tomorrow. A marginal risk of severe weather for those in areas like northern Florida, going into the Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, anywhere in the Carolinas, as well as up into southern Virginia. We'll have a potential for maybe some isolated damaging winds and maybe a little bit of large hail as well. Here's a look at the timing going into late Saturday. Storms will really roll in from Montana, entering into North Dakota, going into the overnight hours. These will primarily produce that damaging wind threat, but I cannot rule out a tornado again. By 6 to 7 o'clock, those storms move off to the east, eventually entering into potentially Minnesota. And again, that threat for severe weather does exist at this time. It is a slight risk. It may be upgraded. We're still looking at some of the factors and how this is going to set up completely. It might be upgraded to an enhanced risk. It's going to take a little bit of thinking though as of right now, because we do have some time in between now and then that things could change. But as of right now, it is a slight risk of severe weather. There's a possibility again for damaging winds, large hail, and maybe a few tornadoes. That's our main threats as of right now. A marginal risk of severe weather does extend into northern and northeastern Nebraska, and it goes all the way out to the east into areas like Wisconsin and extreme northwestern portions of Michigan. Here's a look at the brief timing as of right now. We might see a few showers and storms during the morning hours. That is likely going to be our main severe weather event unless something else dramatically changes. Eventually going to Monday, we'll start to clear out. But that looks looks like our main timing at this point. It's probably gonna be either in the late morning, maybe afternoon hours. Again, things will change between now and then, so just make sure, again, you stay updated with Max Velocity here on our YouTube channel for the latest. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Like the video, I would appreciate it. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting and All Dents Repair.